Hi, Crystal. This is Jennifer Bagley with CI Web Group. And first of all, I want to say thank you for providing us with the opportunity to take a look at your guys' digital marketing presence, where you are, and kind of get a feel for where you want to be. So, as we discussed, I'm going to take a moment to go through just a quick presentation we put together for you. I felt that it would be a lot easier for your partners and the executive team and leadership team to be able to kind of get an idea of where we're at, what we're looking at, and why we think this process is going to be important to you. So, for those of you that are not familiar with our company, we own CI Web Group, which is primarily focused on technology, strategy, network, and mindset. Under the CI Web Group umbrella, we also have the Jennifer Bagley brand, which you'll see in the bottom left-hand corner, 12-step roadmap to accelerated results, which you'll see in the top left-hand corner, and then some other brands as well. Combined, we have quite a powerhouse of solutions providers that can help you guys take your business to the next level. So that being said, first off, a little bit about our organization. We have a training series that we provide, and really it's based on 12 areas of life. And we believe that every individual in a corporation, as well as every corporation, has specific things that are going to be critical to their success. So in our mind, it starts with mindset, how you think, behavior, what you do, time, how you leverage, protect it, technology, making sure you have the right technology, the right strategy, you're surrounded by the right network, ensuring that you're properly leveraging the right resources, you have them on the right bus, in the right place, on the right seat, doing the right things. Next is leveraging relationships. Of course, we're a digital marketing agency, so we have a heavy concentration in the marketing area. We are constantly focused about monetization, which is the money aspect, leadership, and then overall wellness of the organization and the individuals within it. Today, we're going to be specifically talking about marketing, which is what we've been enlisted to visit with you guys about. And we're going to talk through digital marketing solutions that are going to assist you in being able to advance your company to another level and be able to really leverage a lot of content that's already out there and things that are already being done, and really make sure you guys get to take advantage of that and leave it as a legacy and part of the overall documentary of the Lea Elliot brand. With that, we're going to focus on strategy first, guidance, content, web branding, video. We're going to talk about mobile, social media, search engine optimization, email marketing. You have a little bit of a need for some local presence and reviews, as well as CRM integration. And then finally, when we have all the infrastructure and the basic things in place, we can visit some of the other marketing activities such as PPC and retargeting. However, that's definitely not the focus of today. Everything we're going to talk through really has to do with communication. This is your ability to communicate with the world, your customers, your prospects, your vendors, and so forth. What you do, what projects you guys are working on, what some of your success stories are, and what we're looking at in the future, what's coming out of the organization. Our belief is that words are currency. Your ability to leverage authorship, content messaging, your website, blogging, social equity presence, newsletters, videos, podcasts, and so forth. Currency is really how do you convert words to cash, and that is an area that we're going to concentrate greatly on with you as we go through this process. The 12-step roadmap foundations really have to do with technology, strategy, network, mindset, and behavior. The what, the how, the with, the why, and who's going to make it happen. What are we going to do? With your organization, the more that I look online, I see you guys obviously have an audience that's going to stretch across multiple different areas. You guys have existing and past customers, current customers that are working on existing projects. You guys have referral partners, strategic partners, and referral sources that are great network partners. You're going to have individuals that are doing web search, whether it's existing customers for validation or credibility or authority or information, or as possible new prospects for new projects. You guys are also going to have some more advanced people that are doing more voice-to-text searches. What we noticed when we did a lot of the research when looking at your organization is that you have a high mobile search rate as well. So I don't want to leave out the mobile search, which is essentially somebody picking up their cell phone and talking to Siri and saying, what's the best, or how do we, or what do you recommend, or the top 10, and so forth. And they're converting a voice message into a text-based search, which is a much different clientele than your traditional web searchers who are going to a computer, sitting down and typing out a couple key phrases to be able to find you guys. In addition, obviously, mobile is going to play a role in that. Audio, video is going to be critical within your industry because you have a very visual industry. And then finally, your existing email list. On the right-hand side, we talk about it's important to meet people where they are, but not leave them where they are. You guys do this all day long. I believe it's your business. However, in a marketing environment, it's critical as well. Many times executives, professionals, marketing executives, they will focus on designing and building a marketing agenda based on their own personal preferences. So what we mean by meet them where they are, but don't leave them where they are, is we mean that every individual has a different methodology, a different piece of technology that they communicate on regularly. And when we talked about communication and how critical that is, that's exactly what we're visiting. You know, today LinkedIn and Facebook may be the two hottest and most traveled and lived on social media sites on the planet, but really it's not about how are you leveraging just Facebook and LinkedIn, but it's how are you guys leveraging different communication tools and how agile are you at changing and modifying and entering new environments where you're using different technology as your audience uses different technology as well. So I don't want to get too stuck in a specific platform or a specific device or a specific piece of technology, because really the goal is to get you guys in a position where you're able to leverage what's hot right now, what people are currently using in order to be able to get more educated, do more research, validate, gain credibility, and so forth. You guys have obviously a great list of products and services, everything from planning, engineering, facilities, your infrastructure, procurement, and project management, similar to ours, systems refurbishing, vehicle overhauls, program management, oversight, and so forth. There's a lot of different categories. What I noticed right now is on your website, which we're going to go do a quick kind of forensic review of your website, and we're going to find out what's working, what's not working. But we've got to make sure that every one of the primary services or areas that you guys focus on individually has a unique page inside Google. It can be optimized, can be found, it can be filed so that people who are looking for it can find it. And that's one of the biggest opportunities you guys have on the table with revamping your website and making sure that it's built properly. Geography matters. You know, where you guys are located, where your projects are located, and so forth. We've got to make sure that we're properly optimizing your site and placing individual pages in the primary areas that A, you have projects going on, and B, you want to have projects going on. So this is going to be an important part of the process as well. Next, this is we've talked a little bit about how do we focus on existing clients, past clients, referral partners, and so forth. And really this has to do with how you're leveraging current content that's out there. When I Google you guys, what I notice is that there's a tremendous amount of content, but as far as I can tell from an outsider and not being 100% familiar with the inner workings of your business, many of these projects look like they're yours, but I can't tell who actually is involved in the projects because these are existing projects, possibly past projects that are in the media, in the news, they're industry news, but they're not referring back to you and you guys are not displaying and distributing that content. So that's going to be something that's critical, is how do we leverage the content that's being produced by other organizations, other sites, other media sites, and so forth, that's produced as news, but it's not currently promoted on your site or properly indexable on your site as well. So we've got to really look at existing projects, past projects, things that are happening in the media and the news, industry news, it's going to be relevant. Anything you guys are involved in, it's got to make sure we have to treat your website like a documentary. We've got to make sure that we're properly leveraging a searchable blog as your documentary. This is something that's going to improve the overall valuation of the company. This becomes a tangible asset to the organization. I hate to see the content sitting on third-party websites. Also, graphics, video, social equity, making sure that your search engine positioning is done. You know, social media, I don't enjoy the process or the phraseology social media. Really, this has to do with there are 101 different ways people communicate. You have you know, here on this presentation, we're talking about entertainment things, not interested in that for this. Rating and tagging, where you may have Google reviews, recommendations, Yelp, and so forth, Tetranati, Dig, Delicious, Stumble Upon, Reddit. You also have on the bottom right hand side, we have content dissemination and distribution sites. This is going to be important. Content syndication needs to be a regular part of your marketing strategy. When there's news and it's about you or a project you guys are involved on, being able to digitize, replicate, and distribute and syndicate that content across multiple networks is going to be critical. You guys have to be in a new platform to be able to do that. Lastly, relationship building. LinkedIn, I know it's going to be a very credible and primary objective of you guys, but we've also got to remember that the majority of the population within America and abroad is leveraging other social media sites as well. So I don't want to just stick to LinkedIn. I understand the power of groups and organizations in your company profile, connections, job postings, using it for recruiting and so forth. There's a lot of benefits to LinkedIn. I've personally been a keynote speaker with Eric Lee, the founder of LinkedIn. Him and I have had a lot of conversations about this. And while there's some extremely good things you can utilize with LinkedIn, there's other social media networks that I want to make sure you guys don't ignore, but being able to prioritize them, leverage them, make some credible progress on those that's notable and tangible. And then once you have those measurements in place, being able to identify when are we going to add the next one, that's going to be an important part of this process as well. Positioning. Right now, you know, there's we kind of pulled what we believe is a good list of key phrases that your possible prospects as well as existing customers may be looking for. And it shows in the numbers that these are very high search phrases. And in addition to that, the challenge is very notable that we just don't have rank for those. So you guys are not properly positioned from a search engine optimization standpoint or SERP, search engine ranking. To be able to really show where you guys truly are, which is an authority within this industry. You guys have an incredible position within an industry that needs to display just with a simple search, whether it's a video search, audio search, news search, image search, or web search, and so forth. We've got to be able to display exactly who you are, what you do, what you're involved in, so that anybody at a first glance has a true perception of who they're working with for many different reasons. So just to kind of give you guys an idea. Infrastructure. For you guys, this is very simple. First, we need to overhaul the website. Second, we need to create a plan that's going to provide you with a social equity, which is kind of your net promoter score within the social equity world. We've got to build an authorship profile. So Google came out in December of 2013 with a new requirement. A lot of web and marketers decided that they're going to call that the authorship shakeup of December of 2013. And really what it meant is that all of these websites are understanding that Google's primary requirements are you relevant, which is how you're labeling the content on your site? Are you current, which is how frequently are you publishing new content on your site, which is why blogs are more important and valuable than just simply a sales site or a standard brochure website. And the third component is, are you trusted? And that is the engagement and validation from third-party individuals, third-party websites, high validation sites, high PR sites, and so forth, as to are you credible? It used to be that the only thing that mattered was, does the website fit in those categories? And now Google's taken an additional step because you have so many great bloggers and content providers within different corporations and companies that Google has to be able to decipher out of all of this great content now, who should we promote to our consumers, Google's consumers, as most credible. And this now has a huge weight in the social media environment. authorship, as in building a author for your organization that is the primary author on all of the content that's distributed, now requires that you have an extremely well-designed social media plan in order to be able to properly position your author, not only your website, as a credible resource that's liked and trusted and technically popular within the social metasphere. So that's very critical. LinkedIn can do a piece of that for you, but because of some content that's hidden behind the scenes and not as search engine friendly as some of the other social sites, you got to make sure and include some of the other social sites as well. Next, a content plan. I have clients that are absolutely following the best possible scenario you could. The best possible scenario is, as an organization, you become an author, you author a book. The book is built of 10 or 12 primary categories. Those categories are broken into 3 or 4 subcategories. And you have a book that presents you as an author. You can distribute out to customers and prospects and so forth. And that really is your new business card. And then secondly, it gives a marketing agency like us the ability to be able to dissect that book, break it into multiple blog posts, multiple social media posts, multiple newsletter posts, and so forth. So over the course of a year, you don't have to think about where is the content coming from other than new and relevant news. And those are going to be things that are more one-offs versus real traditional statements that are happening within your industry. So a content plan can either work forwards or backwards. Forwards is going to be, we look at things quarter by quarter, and we're looking at what's hot, what's new, what's in the news, what's in the media, what new projects are you taking on, what new testimonials have came in, and we're really designing a content plan that's based on real-time needs and happenings within your organization as well as within your industry. Next, search engine optimization. This really results in 2 different primary objectives. One is on-page optimization. The second one is off-page optimization. How are we labeling content that's on your site? And we're going to talk about that when we look through your site, but also how are we redistributing and syndicating the content that is on third-party sites, and that's going to be important as well. Next, marketing artillery and graphics. You guys will notice as you get to know us and work with us that everything really is about your preparedness. How prepared are you? The faster, the more prepared you are, the faster you guys can execute. So that's going to be critical. Next, video. How are you leveraging video? In a social media environment, you have things that are permanent and things that are temporary. Permanent assets in a digital environment tend to have a compounding result, and things that are temporary assets tend to have an immediate result. So creating the right mixture of these 2 is going to be critical. For your organization, blog content and video content, I am going to say, are going to be the 2 most critical aspects, because you need to have more of a proactive hold on permanent content that can become a permanent digital asset to your organization, which again, many value propositions regarding that as well. And then finally, what is your position in the mobile app environment? How are we putting your brand, your content, your training, your education, your news, your information in the hands, the pockets, and the handbags of people who are carrying mobile devices? Next, brand positioning. When we search for Lea Elliot and we're looking for your specific brand, right now it is how do I say this? You don't technically own the proper amount of real estate that you should for a brand the size you are. So one thing that we really want to concentrate is, how do we position your brand by leveraging blogs, social media sites, videos, social sites, and so forth to allow you to properly position your company based on your own company name, because you're going to, I'm sure, referral business is a huge portion of your business. You're going to have people who are going to be talking about you. And we want to make sure that when they're talking about you, you have a say in what that content looks like. When they're searching for your name, your brand, your company name, your website, I want to make sure that they're not confused by or distracted by other content. I want to make sure that the second they go there, that it properly represents the powerhouse that you guys are. So in a marketing environment, you can and should have an offensive and a defensive strategy. Preferably, you always stay on the offensive line for reputation management, and that includes primarily how we're positioning your own brand. Next, we talk constantly about time. Many times in organizations, with individuals, with businesses, the number one excuse that will prevent organizations from doing the things that they need to is they will say, I don't have enough time. And sometimes that can be money, sometimes it can be resources, sometimes it can be a combination of both, and sometimes it's just simply an excuse not to have to implement these things that they may not be comfortable with or not be familiar with, because they don't leverage or utilize these in their daily lives personally. And so I really want to talk about time and just kind of throw this out there. If you think about within your organization, uh, communication that you have that may be manual, inefficient, or repetitive. If you feel like you're waking up to Groundhog's Day every day and you're making the same sales presentation, you're talking about the same testimonials, and you're giving people example of the same projects, and you're talking about benefits and value propositions, and you're talking through considerations, and you're giving them examples and so forth. If we're going through this process on a regular basis and we haven't digitized it, then of course we're going to feel strapped for time. We're going to feel like we don't have enough time to be able to implement anything else. But really, that's the number one reason that you don't have enough time, is because we're not properly allocating our time. We're not leveraging technology to be able to duplicate, replicate, and automate time. It is one thing to lose time. I understand that. We have a little statement over here: time is precious, so waste it wisely. But it is another thing to leverage time. And if you visit the matrix and you start digitizing your content, it's going to provide you with the ability to duplicate yourself and your best messages, replicate your best sales professionals, your best trainers, your best customer service representatives, your best messengers for your company, your best clients. And it is going to allow you to automate the distribution of that content through many different vehicles, many different communication devices and platforms. Our goal is to help you execute faster. As you get an idea of who we are and who our coaches and our mentors and our team leadership is, you're going to really, really get a feel for the fact that we are very sharp, very organized, very disciplined at strategic execution. And our job is to help you perform quicker. Our job is to help you get results faster. Our job is to help you eliminate blind spots that could possibly be preventing you from being able to rapidly accelerate your business. And this comes from a lot of time, a lot of amazing coaches, and a lot of experience, as well as some very, very crucial disciplines that we have within our organization. We're able to spread throughout our client base through constant communication, constant education, constant training, and strategy and consultative meetings that we have with our clients on a regular basis. Right now, we're really talking about alignment. Obviously, the goal is, how do we execute a plan that's going to get you results faster? And that is going to come from us having a clear understanding of where you want to go, why do you want to go there, and how are you going to get there. Making sure that all of the players that are involved and the key stakeholders that are involved have the right mindset, and that is a belief that we're going to go there, a feeling of urgency about how we're going to get there, and that everybody on the team wants to go that. We have a very positive, how can we get it done mindset versus a why can't we get it done mindset. And that's going to be something we concentrate on regularly, and make sure we're all sitting in the pocket, really in the zone. Next is the capability. Execution capability is, do we have the skills? Do we have the technology? Do we have the network? Do we have the right things in place? Do we have the business acumen? Do we have the decision-making capabilities? Do we have the analytics? Do we have the right content? Do we have everything that we need in place to be able to execute quickly? Next, we have the right leadership, strategy, consultation, and management of all of the associated programs. And finally, how are we converting, which is our sales transformation. Our leadership constantly is repeating this quote, which is very simple. Our job is to connect, engage, and convert. connect, engage, and convert. Sometimes a conversion may be simply retaining an existing client, making them feel more comfortable about their project and who they chose as a service provider or a product provider. Sometimes it may be converting into a new lead or a new opportunity. And there's many other definitions of conversions, but essentially your job through this new communication platform is to connect, engage, and convert. Just to kind of give you an idea of who we are, Tony Jerry is our coach and mentor. He's a coach to the top 500 CEOs in the world, high achievers in the world. He's absolutely brilliant. He's written over 48 books. He's been our client for over a decade. He highly recommends our services and refers clients to us on a regular basis. But most importantly, he's our mentor and he's our guide, and he's constantly being able to relay his coaches who are even in a different position. He coaches some of the top corporations in the world. Many, if you Google his name, you'll be able to see. And this is someone who provides a tremendous amount of backing and feedback and direction as to our overall execution strategies, our ability to provide clarity to our clients, our ability to focus on the right objectives, and to help you get results faster. Next, I want to introduce you to Tammy Kling. Tammy is an international author. She's a vice president of communications for all of our different brands. She has been recognized on New York Times, Wall Street, Dateline, Extra, Primetime. Really, her mission is to help corporations and organizations transform lives or transform their businesses through the power of words. And this really has to do with communications and content. So everything starts with messaging, where your content is, how you disseminate that content, how we transcend that content over years, over time, and throughout different networks and throughout different people to be able to help truly turn words into currency. And this is something that her and I both focus on heavily, as well as, of course, Tony and other leadership within our organization. Also, I'd like to introduce you to Scott Smith. Scott has significant experience as a communications manager. He is head of our video production team, our video marketing team. As I mentioned earlier, there's only two real areas that have a permanent compound interest impact on our business, and that is video, permanent, blog content, permanent, books, permanent. Outside of that, everything else is temporary. When you post content to LinkedIn, very temporary. When you post content to Facebook, very temporary. Twitter and so forth. So not that temporary is bad. However, we have to be able to prioritize where we spend our time. We have a brand underneath our umbrella called Sales Supply Chain, and it's Sales Supply Chain Strategy, which really has to do with doing the right things at the right time. And that's where we focus with Scott. So I just wanted to introduce you to a couple key players within our organization that would play a role in this particular project, and make sure you understand the leadership and the level of skills and experience that would be on the team as well. With that, I'm Jennifer Bagley. I primarily focus on helping high achievers exceed their goals and expectations through achieved accelerator results. I've been a speaker for years. I own multiple companies, and really none of that matters other than I'm here to help you guys achieve your goals and get comfortable in a new era, which is this digital marketing era. We have, I wanted to include, we're going to send you this presentation, so you have the PowerPoint, and inside the presentation there is just a quick video that is one of our 52-week training program that we have, which is the 12-step roadmap to accelerated results. Tammy and I are talking about how to convert words to currency or to cash. And this, I think, would be a great video for you guys to be able to watch. It's a great introduction to our 12-step roadmap training series, which all of our clients participate in. And I included it on here because I think it would be very valuable. All right. With that, let's go ahead and get out of here, and we're going to move over and just take a glance at a few things. First off, let me move these. When I pulled up your guys' search, Lea Elliot, very quickly we can see that you guys have the first position, you have the second position, and then we start moving into Things that are confusing to the consumer. We have a San Francisco office that's located here. We have mom, and I'm not sure how this one connected. We have your jobs profile. Again, San Francisco is really leading that pack. We have an acupuncture and herbal medicine company. We have a white pages listing. We have a yellow pages listing. And really, when you Google your name, it's very important. You should own the first 10 pages of Google at least. And we've got to make sure that through Google Business Listing and all of the local maps listings that you've got a really good position on your organization. I know you guys are not located primarily in San Francisco, so there's some interesting things that are occurring with how you guys have your website and your overall company's positioned online. I'm going to flip over here. We're going to essentially go through these, at least the first 4, and we're not going to dive too much further into that. But when I click news, I want to see people talking about Lea Elliot, and I'm just not here. What we're seeing is kind of random things in the news versus content that's specifically related to your guys' organization. Next, videos, same thing. First thing we have is mugshots and candlelight vigilances and a few other things. But searches, people have set, do they normally do video search, news search, web search, or image searches? And with the exception of a couple photos, it's just not a large enough positioning for a brand as large as yours. So I really want to work on these as well. All right, with that, as we went through and evaluated, all of the primary key phrases, we think this is really something you guys should be known for. There's a tremendous amount of content regarding the APM brand, and I believe that a lot of these are yours. It's very difficult to figure out what's yours, what's other people's, but since other organizations are not necessarily referencing your company within all of the articles and media releases that are coming out, I want to make sure that you are, and we can really help you better position yourself to make sure that as people are doing these searches, that your brand is the first thing that shows up. And definitely owns more real estate than we do right now. All right, lastly, let's go ahead and move over to your guys' website. So we'll get into the most boring part, but important. As we go through your website, I'm just going to first off inspect element, and I'm going to dive right into some of the code that you guys have sitting behind your site. I'm going to move into the header area. And first thing is, your website has to be put into a filing cabinet, first and most important. The name of your website to Google is Home Lea plus Elliot, which I'll come back to that. It's that's not going to serve you well. Plus, the fact that your URL is Lea Elliot, we're really losing a tremendous opportunity. So the title of your website does not properly position your company, not even for your own brand. And then as we go through here, there's some major elements that are missing, such as descriptions, key phrases, and so forth that can help each individual page get indexed within Google. I'm guessing your website was built quite a while ago. It's got some very kind of old school methods as far as the overall development. And so as I go through each one of these, you can tell why you guys are not having very great performance on any of the primary key phrases you're looking for. So I'm going to close out of here. Next, as we go through here, markets, you're going to see here we're basically optimizing markets for automated transit systems.html, but you have tons of primary search phrases that are built into this content that really need to become their own unique URL, such as rail transit systems. When I'm on rail transit systems, I'm going to go back to inspect element. I'm going to go into the heading. And again, all we have is rail transit systems, Lea Elliot. We have no descriptions, no key phrases. And, I'm I'm kind of addressing the more technical aspects of a website, such as having a page titled services, whereas really we want to make sure that each individual planning services, engineering, and so forth, each one of these is labeled properly. We don't want to label things as a number A163. We really want to dive into safety analysis and certification, vehicle design, control and communication systems, power distribution, track work, value engineering, conceptual design, and so forth. These are all very prominent key phrases within your guys' industry, but every single page throughout this site, when it comes to a primary key phrase, we're identifying these as numbers. So pound, which is going to give you a direct access link to a particular area on a site. A166, this is too generic of a term. When we have services.html pound, which is your direct link, A166, all of this essentially is going to wind up in what Google and I call a junk drawer. And I hate to see you guys there. Now, there is a lot of issues with the overall development and infrastructure of the website. I don't see anything current. There's no blog integration. The website is very static, and the content that's posted, it's not properly optimized, it's not properly laid out, and those are going to prevent you from being listed for key phrases that you rightfully should own the positioning on. And so that's going to be critical as well. So locations, resource search, markets, services, careers, media, and so forth. We really have to completely modify the way that this is being leveraged. Media right now, you guys are trying to get into a Google drawer titled media, and that doesn't work. That's a junk drawer in Google's eyes. Same with conference papers, brochures, newsletters, news articles. We've got to turn these into blog categories, and every individual news release needs to be its own individual phrase in a proper format that allows people to be able to comment, allows the content to be able to be shared across social networks, allows people to be able to get notifications of new content that's being posted via an RSS or a really simple syndication feed. These are just all kind of the basics of websites today. You guys need to be in a WordPress format. You need to have a website, integrated blog, integrated social media network. Your website needs to be in a responsive design, which means that it properly reshapes itself and resizes itself for social media sites and mobile devices, tablets, iPhones, Androids, and so forth. And then finally, from a design, you have, a lot of different layers that are involved in a website. You have the visual appearance of the site, which is called your presentation layer. You have your content management system, which is going to allow you guys to easily be able to and very quickly be able to publish content, distribute content, schedule content to be distributed. You have different plugins that are going to allow you to optimize content, distribute content via social media platforms. You have your database, and you have kind of the primary infrastructure behind that, which is your server platform. With all of these layers, the presentation layer is definitely going to be something that needs a complete overhaul. The branding behind Lea Elliot needs to be modified. We need to have a white background. We need to be properly using call to actions. We need to have a full use of the dimensions of a site. So you're looking at 1,000 pixels wide. You're looking at a much larger, as in length, website that has more content, cleaner, kind of widgetized areas that will allow you to be more dynamic in your content, but very clean, so that individuals can easily access the areas that they're most interested in without getting distracted and easily convert. You really have three different kind of prospects that come to your site. You have individuals who are instant decision makers, you have individuals who are more analytical and researchers, and you have your fence sitters. And it's going to be critical to make sure that your website properly displays itself to those different personality types. That's more on the technical design side. On just the basic side, we've got to get out of a black background. There's a very different group of websites that utilize black backgrounds, and I hate to see you guys fit in that category. So I think that this is going to be a relatively simple process. You have a tremendous amount of content. So your biggest thing is design, having an extremely well done design, having the proper infrastructure from a website standpoint, having the proper content and messaging for conversions. And then your integrated social media environment, leveraging video as well as mobile. And with that, you guys will have just the basics, ready to be able to truly take this organization to market and document as well as promote and market who you are, what you do, to the right people at the right time and the right place. And I think this is going to be a great project for you guys. So with that, I know I spoke quickly because I was trying to fit in a lot of content and information into a short amount of time. You have a tremendous amount of opportunity. So I love seeing opportunity with different projects. Uh, and I think this is going to be a fun process. So hopefully this is helpful. Thank you so much for taking the time to attend. Please go back and check out this video that I posted here. And I look forward to working with you guys. Thanks again.